I'll now introduce today's teachers, Arisika Razak and Evely Delfino Sales Posh. They will lead the practice and answer questions, which you may put in the chat. Arisika is Professor Emerita and former chair of the Women's Spirituality Program at the California Institute of Integral Studies. She's a core teacher at the East Bay Meditation Center in Oakland, California, and a graduate of Spirit Rock's dedicated practitioner program. Her teachings incorporate diverse spiritual traditions, multicultural feminisms, and contemporary diversity theory. She has facilitated spiritual healing and empowerment workshops for over 30 years and presents at numerous conferences on the subjects of womanism, diversity, women's health and healing, and embodied spiritual traditions. Evely is a devoted chanter, certified sound therapist, and pranic healer, music teacher, sacred song composer, and ritualist. Her music ministry brings her closer to assisted living and rehabilitation centers, hospitals, retirement homes, and prisons. And it is my pleasure to welcome you both. Thank you so much. Arisika, I pass the mic to you.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I know our audience may be spread out throughout the time zones. And while we are going to start, I wanted just to take a moment and ask us maybe to put our hands over our hearts. This day, April 9th, is for many Japanese Americans, is the day that the birthday of the Buddha is celebrated. And statues of the baby Buddha are bathed in flower waters. This is an auspicious day that is celebrated. And I just invite you to put your hands over your heart. The practice of Buddhism came to these territories brought by Asians American, Chinese Americans, and Japanese Americans in the 1800s. And they held on to their practice and taught many Euro-Americans in the early 20th century. And so let's just for a moment be in fellowship. In other parts of Asia, the birthday of the Buddha will be celebrated toward the end of April or in May. So let's just feel our connection to the lands that the Buddha walked, the countries that Buddhism first was practiced in. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I also want to acknowledge that in this great congruence of times when many calendars are lunar, lunar solar, as well as Gregorian, that we are in the midst of Ramadan, which is a Muslim holiday, and that next week the Jewish Passover Seder will occur, Easter is coming. And so in this moment, all these holidays are aligned. And while there are many wars, there's fundamentalism in many religious practices, there are people of goodwill and faith that takes in and honors the earth and the diversity of all species and all peoples. And so let's again just have a moment of silence for all these holidays that are celebrated by our kin. And for those who enter the stream of Buddhism through the doorway opened by those who in the 1970s and 1960s went to Burma and Thailand and India and practiced there, let us also hold those teachers, the teachers who brought the insight meditation tradition, the Pasna, Theravada traditions, also in our hearts. We honor the Asians and Asian Americans in the lands where the Buddha originated, and we honor the Western convert teachers also. May this day be a good day. May we practice together going forward in a good way. May we hold with respect and honor all of us, all of those who taught, loved, and brought this way to us. And I think with that, maybe I'm going to ask Evely if she would sing the Refuge song for us.
Thank you, dear Arisika. And also upcoming too is the celebration of Earth Day, thinking about how the Buddha touched the earth. So we'll chant this 3 times. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this earth, in this world. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. I take refuge in these 3 jewels of body, heart, mind, and soul. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this world. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. I take refuge in these 3 jewels, in perfect oneness of body, heart, mind, and soul. Second time. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in perfect oneness. I take refuge in all these jewels, perfect oneness of body, heart, mind, and soul. Third time. I take refuge in the Buddha, the one who shows me the way in this life. I take refuge in the Dharma, the way of understanding and love. I take refuge in the Sangha, the community that lives in awareness. I take refuge in these 3 jewels, in perfect oneness of body, heart, mind, and soul. I take refuge in these 3 jewels, in perfect oneness of body, heart, mind, and soul. I take refuge in these 3 jewels, in perfect oneness of body, heart, mind, and soul.
Let's just let the music echo through our body, heart, mind. Thank you so much, Evely. Um, I'd like to say that we're going to have a meditation that will go about 20, somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes, a Dharma talk, a question and answer period, a closing chant from Emily. And again, I welcome every one of you, whether you are new to meditation, whether you are a long-term practitioner. Thank you for coming. Thank you for spending this Saturday with us. We're going to be practicing Metta today. And as was said, Metta is one of the four divine abodes, the four dwelling places where we rest our emotions, where all enlightened beings rest and dwell. And the Four Brahma Viharas begin with Metta or loving kindness. They go into Karuna or compassion. They go into sympathetic joy, mudita, and finally to upekkha or equanimity. Loving kindness is one that is often talked about, and it may, for some of us, it is a prerequisite or a door opener to all the others. So let's just for now find a comfortable place in which our body can rest, a comfortable place in which we stand or sit or lie down. You might want to just begin by placing one hand over the heart and just noticing the breath. You may feel the breath as the chest moves in and out. You may feel the breath as air comes past the nostrils. Alternatively, you may just rest one hand on the belly, the hara about 3 finger breadths below the navel, and just feel the sensation of the body touching the body. You may want to rest your hands on your thighs or in your lap. Feel your feet on the floor, your sits bones on the cushion. And just feel the sensation of the body, the connection to the earth, the connection to the breath, the connection to all of life. Your eyes can be gently open, close softly. You may want to hear the arising and falling of sound. Pick a sense anchor, the body, the breath, the rise and fall of sound, the soft gaze, the closed eyes. And we'll begin just in silence, noticing what arises. Thoughts arise, feelings arise. This is natural. But in this moment, I ask you to come back to the sense anchor and bring your awareness to the feeling of the hands resting on the thighs, on the chest or belly, the movement of breath in and out of the lungs, the rise and fall of sound, the soft gaze. Let the thoughts or feelings arise like clouds passing through the sky. No attachment and no judgment. Wherever you are in this practice is fine. No struggle, no resistance. Just being in this moment. I invite you to bring a hand to the heart as we engage in the practice of metta and repeat silently or aloud the phrases of metta. You may have your own phrases or you may have mine, and I'll repeat them. May I be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May I be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May I be strong and healthy in mind and body. And if that's not possible, may I be held with support and grace in all my limitations. May I be strong and healthy in mind and body. And if that's not possible, may I live with my limitations and disabilities with support and grace. May I take care of myself with ease and joy. May I care for myself with ease and joy. May I be happy, truly, truly happy. And we'll repeat them. And we're directing this round of metta first to ourselves. May I be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. Safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May I be strong and healthy in mind and body, and if that's not possible, may I live with my limitations and disability with support and grace. May I be strong and healthy in mind and body, and if that's not possible, may I live with my limitations and disabilities with grace and support. May I care for myself with ease and joy. May I care for myself with ease and joy. And may I be happy, truly, truly happy. And just let those phrases ring through the body, mind, and heart. Metta is also called on to be said for those who are our benefactors, for those who are our allies and our friends. And so I ask that you identify just one person who has cared for you, one person who has helped, one person who has maybe been a teacher, a ground of support and caring. And let the image of this person come to your mind. And say their name aloud. Can be your grandparent, can be a friend, a spouse, a benefactor. May you be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May you be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. And feel a heart opening to this person, wishing them well. May you be strong and healthy in mind and body. And if that's not possible, may you live with your limitations and disabilities with support and grace. May you be strong and healthy in mind and body. And if that's not possible, may you accept your limitations and disabilities with support and grace. May you care for yourself with ease and joy. May you care for yourself with ease and joy. And may you be happy, truly, truly happy. May you be happy, truly, truly happy. And you just might imagine a stream of loving kindness, tender awareness flowing between your heart and the heart of this person who has been friend and ally and support, caregiver to you. I'm going to ask us to now identify a person for whom we have neutral feelings. This could be perhaps the post person who delivers your mail. It's someone you see but really don't know. It may be an Uber or Lyft driver. My son works for Lyft, and so I think of the people that he experiences. It may be someone at the store, someone on the bus, the BART. Maybe you locked eyes with someone walking through the plaza, walking through the park. Someone who locked eyes with you, rolling in your wheelchair, sitting on a bench. Someone you don't know, may not see again, or may see in passing. Identify one person who is a neutral person. You don't know them well enough to know who they are or what they do, but you have no feeling of fear or ill will, just the feeling of this other human being. So identify this person, and we'll say the practice of Metta. May you be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May you be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May you be strong and healthy in mind and body. And if that's not possible, may you live with your limitations and disabilities with support and grace. May you be strong and healthy in mind and body. And if that's not possible, may you live with your disabilities and your limitations with support and grace. May you care for yourself with ease and joy. May you care for yourself with ease and joy. And may you be happy, truly, truly happy. And just feel again the open river of heart, of loving care, tenderness, loving awareness that streams between you and this being that you don't know, but who is worthy of receiving care and tenderness. In this moment, I'm going to invite you to put your hands over your heart and just feel what has moved in you during this exercise. There is no right, wrong, good, or bad. Whatever you experienced is what is. Just notice if it was difficult to do any of these exercises, if you were able to access them, what got in the way? We'll talk about the last phrase of Metta, Metta for the difficult in the Dharma talk. But in this moment, I'm going to ring the bell and bring us back to here and now. Sangha, thank you for your practice. Thank you so much. I want to tell you one of the stories that is told about the practice of metta. The Buddha had sent a bunch of the monks that were following him to do practice, to do meditation in a wilderness area. In the early days, those who followed the Buddha left their homes, left the ease of living inside houses, and often dwelt outdoors. They were wanderers. And he had sent them into an area that was full of wild animals, various plants, and also spirits. And as the monks came in, without recognizing that they were actually trespassing on someone's land, that they were maybe making it harder for some of the animals to hunt, the animals got a little annoyed. They were trespassing. They were acting like colonialists, like, oh, there's nothing here. This is an empty land. We can just practice as we want. And so the animals, the wilder ones, the larger ones, began to growl and to make menacing noises. And the spirits had been dwelling, they had made their peace with the land. Some of them clustered around the waterways, some of them clustered around the trees. They were not quite happy with a bunch of humans coming in and disturbing things. So they too made their presence known. And the monks were aware of this, and they were afraid. There were sounds in the night. There were footsteps heard that they didn't seem to connect. The wind moaned. The wind was loud. The water sounded threatening. And they left. They ran back to the Buddha and they said, Lord, we are afraid. We are having difficulty doing our meditation practice because of the wild animals. We are afraid of them. because of the deities and the spirits, they don't seem to welcome us. And the Buddha gave them the practice of metta, of loving kindness, and instructed them to go back to the wilderness. And not only to say metta for those who were of benefit to them, but to say metta for those they were fearful of, to say metta for those who were difficult to abide by or abide with. So, having done the practice of metta for yourself, for a benefactor, and for a neutral person, I'm going to ask that you find a person that you may have had some difficulty with, not the person who caused you the most fear and pain in your life, not the person who was the most abusive, but someone maybe who had an unkind word for you. It may be one of your housemates or a spouse who didn't understand something you said. Someone for whom there is a mild amount of difficulty. And you would like, in fact, to come back in good heart relation. You have a friend, and somehow this past 6 months or years, there's been some difficulty, some not recognition of you, something has come up, and you are a bit estranged. So pick someone for whom there is a difficulty that has arisen, and someone for whom right now, in this brief practice, you want to find your heart open to again. So let the face of that person arise. And we're going to repeat the metta phrase. I'm just thinking, my husband made pancakes this morning, and I don't like to do that many carbs. I was a little annoyed. So that may be the kind of example I'm talking about. May you be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May you be safe and protected from inner and outer harm. May you be strong and healthy in mind and body. And if that's not possible, may you accept your limitations and your disabilities with grace and support. May you be strong and healthy in mind and body. And if that's not possible, may you accept your limitations and disabilities with grace and support. May you care for yourself with ease and joy. May you care for yourself with ease and joy. And may you be happy, truly, truly happy. May you be happy, truly, truly happy. And just notice what is arising as you say metta for a difficult person. Your heart may not yet be open to them. There may not be a full, free flow of energy. But this is a practice. And we practice because everyone in the world has their place. They may have fallen away from the way of harmony and balance. They may cause suffering and feel suffering. Many of us have heard the phrase, hurt people, hurt people. So let's, in this moment, accept that all beings were tiny, tiny children who needed love and support and attention, and who, even if they are acting in mean and difficult ways, are still deserving of love and support. The sun rises and shines on the good and the difficult alike. And we practice metta for ourselves, for those who have been our benefactors and who have cared for us. We practice metta for those who have been difficult, those who are neutral. And we understand that if we are to walk the way of peace, if we are to meet harm with truth and reconciliation, if we are to step back and lay down our weapons of war, if we are going to lay down centuries and decades of hatred, we must open our hearts to the things that we hold in common with those who are causing harm. Our need for food, for shelter, for water, our need for love and affection, our need for learning, our need for resources of all kinds. In this time, as resources get short, as water holes get empty, people look with envy and anger at the water holes of their neighbors. Nations look at their populations and want to expand and have dominance. Let's look instead to what we hold in common and figure out ways that we share resources, that we find ways to clean the water, that warring tribes and nations sit together to make peace, looking at what they hold in common. Metta is a blueprint. Metta is a guiding way. Metta is a way that encourages us to understanding that all people and all beings are worthy of love, tenderness, and care. May we hold the practice of metta in a... And I want to say, I have talked, you have listened, you have practiced, and thoughts, ideas, ruminations, questions may be arising. Understanding that we want to have room for several of you to share what has arisen for you, to ask your questions. So let's make I statements. Let's be open to a diversity of opinions and ideas and questions. Let's hold what is said in confidence without names. And so any questions, any sharings, has anything come up for you? And especially if you're a shyer person, we encourage you to speak up. A question you have, a reflection you made, may be just the medicine for someone else to hear. Everly.
Yes, thank you so much, Arisika, my dear friend, for this practice and reminding me of the practice of metta, to offer it with sincerity and mindfulness and deep thought, and to not take it to where it's traumatic or it revisits any deep trauma that we may have experienced, and to be gentle, really gentle with ourselves. So I really appreciate the reminder, and thank you for the practice again. And bless you, by the way.
Emily, that's really, really important. Thank you. Someone, Diane, is saying, I'm so grateful for these sessions. It's disappointing that this will be the last session, and I wish everyone health and happiness. I want to echo that. And I want to say there are a number Zoom of meditation groups. I'm going to be starting a meditation group with Introduction to Meditation, and you're welcome, whether you're experienced or not, at East Bay. It'll begin in May. So go to the East Bay website, right? Thank you for posting that. And it'll be listed as one of the offerings. And I also want to say, we move to forgiveness in our own time, in our own season. So I'm really grateful for Evely reminding us of that. We don't start with the most difficult person. We start with someone that maybe we just want to open the way of our heart back to. And sometimes even among friends, a word is said, that a phrase is offered that harms us. So yes, let's be open to that, to working first with those who are easy and moving toward the difficult. Jack Kornfield tells a story of Tibetan nuns who were being tortured, who said metta for their torturers. Those are very advanced practitioners. I am not starting there. I don't know that I could go there in my lifetime. But I do want to say that Martin Luther King said, we will pray for our oppressors. We will love them. We will bring them back into the circle of humanity. And that kind of meeting with the heart is so important. There is a very old Buddhist saying, it's translated many ways, but it's basically that hatred never ends by hatred, but by love alone is healed. And so I want us to just be aware of that, aware that it is only through the power of love that we will end war, that we will end hatred, and that we will come into a time of global peace. I know that Evely has a song. Is there any last comment or question that needs to be heard? And it can be in the chat. Thank you. So, thank you. Someone has just registered. That's great. So, Evely, let's go ahead. Oh, thank you. And this was the first time. We're so happy when beginners come. We're all beginners, and we begin again and again.
Thank you. And I do want to say that there is the Himalayan Fair is back at Live Oak Park in Berkeley, May 21st and 22nd. And if you want to come chant with my group, please, Allison is going to put my email address in the chat. Please come and chant with us for the benefit and uplifting, centering people of color, the Himalayan Fair, and all of the countries around the Himalayas. So simple chant based on a melody by a friend of mine. May I be happy, may I be well, may I be free from suffering, may I be at peace. And we're going to start, usually we start with ourselves, and with a practice that Arisika, hopefully it is easy to start with ourselves so that we can give to others. May I be happy. Hold on a second, let me turn off my phone. Okay, here we go again. May I be happy, may I be well, may I be free from suffering, may I be at peace. May I singing it twice, so you repeat with me. May I be well. May I be well, free from suffering. May I be free from suffering with me. May I be free from suffering. May I be at peace with me. May I be at peace. May you be happy with me. May you be happy. Be well. May you be well with me. May you be well, free from suffering. May you be free from suffering with me. May you be free from suffering. Be at peace. May you be at peace with me. May you be at peace. Now this is not called response, but together with me. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Be well. May all beings be well. Be free from suffering. May all beings be free from suffering. Be at peace. May all beings be at peace. Metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha. Metta, karuna, mudita, upekkha.
Thank you so much, Evely. So before I dedicate the merit, I would just like to, if there's any last comment or question, to go into the chat. And I want to thank all of you. Some of you who are in the audience may have been coming for the last 2 years. Some of you have come and it is your first time. So again, deep bows of gratitude for giving yourself this time to practice and understanding there are many practice venues. Please continue your practice. There's, Zen Center in San Francisco, and many of the centers are now beginning to talk about when they will open up. The hybrid, we know we have an audience that is out of state as well as in state and in city. So we will probably do many places now, some combination of in-person practice and video or online practice. So welcome, please continue. Thank you. Thank you, Asian Art Museum. And in recognition that in Buddhism, we recognize our interbeing, our interconnection to all that is or was or will be. We dedicate the merit of our practice, all the good, positive energy that has been raised, and let's offer it to all the countries where there is conflict, to all the places where war is occurring, to all the places where drought is occurring, to all the places where hunger is occurring, to all the places where the habitats are being livable for the animals, the swimmers, the flyers, the creepers, the crawlers, those who run, those who swim, those who fly. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be free. May all beings live in harmony and balance. Thank you, Sangha, for your practice.
Thank you, Allison, Asian Art Museum, Arisika. That brought tears to my eyes, that dedication of merit. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Thank you, Asian Art Museum. And please check out the offerings of the Asian Art Museum.
Thank you both so much. This was such a moving and beautiful practice. I really appreciate both of you. And thank you to everyone who joined us today. This meditation practice was recorded and will go up onto the museum's YouTube channel in a couple of weeks. You can find that at Asian Art Museum YouTube. Thank you both.
Thank you.
I'm going to end the session now. Please have a beautiful day.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.